Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. God bless. May the Queen rest in peace. It's a very British stream today. I have a special guest, Markets Meow Meow, or Trader RB, as he is also known. How can we just disable the chat? No. And yeah, we're gonna go through the interestingness.
Greetings.
Yeah, we're gonna go through the interestingness. Yeah, we're gonna go through. And I think there is a wonderful reverberation. How are you, RB, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm just going to have to put my headphones on because I realized that I can't actually listen to you. And yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm just going to. Oh my God. Let me just connect my headphones.
Yeah,
then we'll
sure.
be.
I imagine RB's sat by the pool on this wonderful British day.
I'm not. It's very overcast today, actually.
Is it? It is actually where I am as well. It's not the best. It's traditional British summer. So yeah, good morning everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. We're obviously joined by RB on this wonderful CPI day. So RB, how you doing?
Yeah, well, mate. Well, I'm not in any margin positions at the moment, so it's been a relatively stress-free week, actually.
Yeah. Have you not been trading at all this week?
Well, I have, but just spot trading actually.
Okay.
But I was long Bitcoin on Friday and I closed it out into the weekend, and it just hasn't given an entry for more upside yet. And it's that horrible sort of grindy directional chop, which doesn't mean revert and it doesn't trend. And it just leaves behind loads of clean lows. So yeah, it's been pretty hard to get back in, unless you've just been willing to ape, and with wide invalidation. So I'm just waiting for the data now, and we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think data's imminent, isn't it? And
yeah,
I can't wait to watch the 1 minute fuckery around that candle because it's always interesting, and you always see it on Twitter. Have you got anything in mind? Anything that you think is going to happen?
I mean, my thinking into the event over the past week or so has been, likely to be bullish. I think the market clearly thinks it's going to be bullish.
Yeah.
I think this could be the news that catalyzes a break from balance, actually, and that we start a trendy move to the upside.
Okay.
But we'll see, won't we? It's all speculation and guesswork at the moment.
Yeah.
But we're not too far away. I mean, if we get another 10% move, I think we probably break what I think is the key level at 24K. So there is resistance before that, but we've seen strong reactions to this data in the past. So if it's favorable, then yeah, I think it could catalyze a trending move.
Yeah, I mean that's bull market is back, boys and girls. You heard it here first. But you're not positioned into it in any way, shape, or form.
I'm spot long. I loaded up fully on spot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all at the moment. What are your thoughts leading into this?
I am absolutely naked going into this. Yeah, I've got nothing. I've got zero positions.
Really?
Yeah, it's I've been quite risk off generally. I mean, I had a good short from 21.7, I think it was 21.799 or something over here, which played out quite nicely. I managed to close them off down here, but I didn't have the tenacity or the mental prowess at the time to flip long and change my bias, which is quite unlike me, to be honest, because I prefer longing, particularly the ultimate shitcoin Ponzi's.
It's always a difficult one at range lows. I was up very late on, was it I can't remember what night it was last week, about a week ago anyway, when we sold off into that 18K area. I was up very late, kind of half anticipating a breakdown. And it's very difficult when you're in that mindset to then flip your bias. So the next day I was like, okay, I don't want a position here. And then I ended up, waking up very early that morning when we broke higher.
Yeah.
And I managed to catch along just in the sort of mid-19s.
Oh, nice. That is. I mean, that's fully.
I was so tired. I think I was so tired that I didn't manage that position particularly well. And I ended up closing it, on the Friday night.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating not being positioned because I've been planning to buy that area for some time, and when it actually came, I pussied out of it.
it's always the way, isn't it? I remember a
Yeah,
tweet from Cred actually. It was years ago, probably, where he said when the chart looks like absolute utter garbage, you fight that feeling in your stomach and you just hit the buy button.
for sure. Yeah, and it was
I
so
was
clean.
like,
We swept all of those. We swept all of those naked lows. More or less into into that naked point of control around that area that I've been watching. So it's quite frustrating in hindsight. But
yeah. I mean, I had the meme like. Oh, excuse me. I had the meme range reclaim up here and get long, but there was literally, I was in bed. I was in bed when we got that move,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then there's just zero pullback. And like you say, to jump on that is, I mean, what's your signal? What's your invalidation? Is quite difficult unless you just go for late. But yeah, I did not. So I'm actually flat into it. I took what I keep doing, and someone asked in the chat actually, what is this chart? Wow, I wonder if that's a classic Litecoin Walmart announcement type thing.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd move, isn't it? A bit of an outlier. But this is generally for chat's benefit how I look at altcoins, and I look at relative strength. I want to be positioning into rotations on strong altcoins where essentially, they're very high beta to BTC, and they're doing this as opposed to something that's just doing that. And we did get a really odd thing Monday actually, which is when BTC started pumping and started that move on Monday morning. We got quite I think was it here? No, maybe it's a bit earlier. It was this actually, wasn't it? And we got quite a sell-off on alts, which for the first 3-4%, I think it was quite risk off on altcoins, which is a bit bizarre. It's the first
yeah,
time I've seen that in a while.
yeah. It's been a long time.
Which yeah, they then went on to do pretty well, particularly Sol, and Sol's something I've been looking at. Are you in any Sol positions?
Yeah, I've got a spot position, Solana. I think actually it's been relatively straightforward to spot the outperformers in alts over the past week or so. It's been really event driven, I think. So you've seen Solana performing well. I think you've got the Solana conference in November. Nia had a decent rally. Obviously, the conference is on at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Atom has done well. The cosmology conference is very soon, and Atom 2. Ape is having a decent run at the moment on the back of the staking thing. So all of my altcoin plays have been events driven, and they've all played out pretty well, with the
It's
exception of Room
interesting.
at the moment, which is doing absolutely fuck all.
That's
Yeah,
interesting because I always hear the argument of like, do events determine narratives, and or sorry, does narrative determine price, or does price determine narrative? And it's like, well, they're kind of interwound, right?
yeah,
You need the narrative, but price confirms it. So it is very chicken and egg, but you can have a theory that's a narrative or narrative driven, and then if that narrative catches on, then you'll probably see that in price, or you should see that in price.
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
And if you're not seeing that in price, then your narrative isn't working.
yeah. Ada's the one at the moment which is doing very little, that I expected more performance from. So a decent initial rally, a nice pullback, got
Yeah,
another.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
really,
oh,
really stagnant now.
that's a very messy chart. I was clearly explaining something on a stream at some point. But yeah, I mean, it's in my garbage going to zero pile, usually
Yeah,
just to trigger Adamaxes because they're the funnest to trigger IMO. But yeah, it's not been. I mean, I haven't seen it on Spaghetti for a long time. I don't even know if it's still on here, to be honest. But yeah, it is.
does spaghetti filter
uh,
top
no,
outfit?
I changed this manually, and I will
Okay.
dump it in the chat before I get asked it. I've done this a few times now. How do I get that chart? There you go. There's the link. And if you want it, you just literally click compare up here, and you add your symbols. But yeah, I mean, it's always worth having on there. I'm not opposed to trading it. I just low key like triggering Adamaxes.
Yeah, yeah. It had 1 or 2 days of strong performance last week, and since then it's done nothing. Just shitty consolidation.
Yeah. So if we don't get some form of bullish news on BTC, not on BTC, but some form of bullish CPI today, are you going to just net short?
If something sets up, there's been so much aggressive longing into this area and so much absorption. I think, if the news is bad, you're going to see a pretty big unwind to the downside. It's an interesting spot. So, we've just seen stop hunt after stop hunt, trap after trap.
Yeah.
Is it unwind? I think it's entirely dependent on the data. So, I wouldn't mind seeing a move up towards 23.4 to get into shorts, but I'm not sure that we're going to get that into CPI. I mean, if we do, then I'd like to short in that area. But I'm open to both directions here. It's just it's going to be driven entirely by the data.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say I'm going to short here, I'm going to
yeah,
here.
Otherwise, someone will do it on 100x leverage, and then you'll get a DM saying, "Can I have a refund, please?"
Yeah, exactly. But I'm happy to hold my spot, provided we stay in above sort of that consolidation around 19.5, 20k. I don't think you want to see that lost if you're in a spot position here.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean,
that would be.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but other than that, just gonna react. I'm not really. Nice. Don't really have, I would have liked to have seen a sell-off into CPI, particularly if we're going to have a bullish reaction to it, mainly so I can just get positioned. But there's been so much aggressive longing into this area, big increase in open interest with no real impact on price. That I'd like to see some of these longs flushed out before we go higher. It's very difficult to position long in this area. So if we get a very favorable CPI print, then it may just go, and that might be very difficult to position into. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's kind of my not being in a position has a benefit, but in terms of I don't actually have to think about it, like in terms of okay, well, how am I going to manage this? If this then that type thing. But equally, the big not fear from me, but the it's the old meme, isn't it? Of you're sidelined. That's it. You get to watch the bull run happen without you, and it might be very hard to get on board, particularly in the next few days, if we just turn systematic risk on, which I don't know. If I think in probabilistic thinking, there's a good chance that it does happen.
Yeah, I think there is.
I think, like you said, the market is kind of preempting it, particularly with this move up and some of the rallies on alts. I mean, what's your view of like ETH then and the whole merge narrative?
If I look at ETH BTC, to me it looks cooked. If you look at the 3-day.
Yes, I've drawn exactly the same thing as you, I imagine.
Yeah.
Absolute death of momentum. Nice div across the highs.
It looks awful. I mean, once that 3-day low is broken, which we haven't done yet. I mean, there's still a chance it legs higher, right? At the moment, structurally, it's still good. But to me, it looks fried. And I think it's a good example of narrative following price. Really, I think the ETH move was strong because equities were strong and liquidity concentrated into ETH because of the narrative. So it wasn't that, ETH rallied because of the merge. ETH rallied because equities were strong. Correct. And it rallied more than BTC because of the merge, perhaps.
Yeah.
But that narrative for me is played out now. So I think it's done. I really think it's done. I'm not interested in ETH from at least in terms of getting long.
So I think we're what, 2 days away from it now?
I think it's tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shows you how much attention I'm paying to it. But yeah, it just looks cooked. Yeah, 3-day momentum dying.
Yeah. What do you think the same?
Yeah. I'm absolutely on the same page. I think there was a nice that I thought I had on here, a nice Sol ETH chart that's been popping around on. I've obviously just put it somewhere in my boomerism, but
it's a nice daily divs on the Sol ETH chart.
Yeah, it's just it's just nice in terms of momentum, in terms of volume, in terms of it's quite rotational, and it wouldn't be it wouldn't be difficult to assume that this is the start of a rotation into ETH.
Yeah.
Sorry, into Sol, away from ETH. With all the narrative playing out, etc., etc. Sol itself has had quite a strong couple of days on low time frame, and it kind of makes sense from a narrative perspective. It makes sense from a chart perspective. It's held structure pretty well. And as much as I memed the other day, I'll look at the pump. It's actually very, very strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I wanted to position into something, conscious of some like lower time frame momentum divs here, which could just be consolidation before our next, quote unquote melt up. Yeah, it's my preferred play
Yeah.
over ETH, and SHIB is something that's been on my radar. SHIB Doge is very, very bullish for a pairs trade potentially. If we go into that full degenerative, full degen on risk mode, full risk on mode, then yeah, SHIB is probably setting up quite nicely, I think, as a potential outlier.
Interesting. I haven't looked at SHIB for some time.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a bit scarred for me personally, but
What happened?
oh well, I had like 1% of the supply at one point, and it was I put like 2 ETH in it or something, or 3 ETH way back when, and it went like billions of percent up. But I sold it very, very early.
Did you?
But we've all got those bags, right? And this is the thing: is people are like, "Oh, I can't believe it! You've been a billionaire," and it's like, when you have bags like that, like if you put a couple of grand in a bag and it goes to like 5 figures, 6 figures, close to 7 figures, you really going to keep that? Are you going to take a 7-figure bag off the table and then put it back on? Do you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
how I always think of it. Is it's like when you've got something on the table, if you took it back off, would you put it back on? And if the answer is yes, then keep degen. And if the answer is no, then it's probably time for you to at least trim some off the sides, shall we say? But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my biggest fumble by far, $1 billion.
Jeez.
Have you got any bags like that?
I mean, so I bought ETH at like sub $10 in like 2016.
Oh yeah.
And then I sold it at like 12 or something. And then, but I did buy back in.
Yeah.
Nothing that severe. No, nothing that severe.
But I think that's the thing, isn't it? And to me, the only way that people really do it is if they are absolute degenerates, or they genuinely just buy it, forget about it, and then go, "Oh shit, I've got this, lovely, happy
Yeah,
days."
or their bag is too big to sell. Like they literally couldn't
Yeah,
given the
yeah. I
liquidity.
mean, that would have been like I
You
think
would
the
have,
slippage on that would have been.
yeah, you would have got into that situation.
Yeah, yeah. There's just not enough liquidity. Although at the
Yeah,
top there might have been, because to be
yeah,
fair,
true.
everything was bananas. If you were looking at daily volume, even when Ape was in play not long ago,
Yeah,
if that run up there, I mean, I was trading like with reasonable size at that point. Do you know what I mean? Because every candle was like, I don't know, 20 mil volume or something. 1 minute candle. It was like, the liquidity was 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 very, very good.
yeah.
And these days it's what, yeah, 36 mil. Not not ideal. Not ideal. But yeah, that's. Have you been playing Ape then?
I bought a bag a few days ago when it just reclaimed that 511 level. Um,
Nice.
I think, yeah, I think it looks decent. At least towards 640s next, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it run that sort of 770 high potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that whilst generally on metaverse stuff, I think metaverse as a narrative is not cooked, but I think we're going to see a shift to quality, and
Yeah,
Ape is definitely quality in terms
yeah,
of metaverse projects. So uh, in
yeah.
terms of my long-term bags, not that I've actually sat and said, right, I'm reinvesting this amount of capital in the market on an investment basis yet. But Ape would certainly be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in that kind of stage? Are you in the stage where you want longer
No,
term spot bags, or?
not really. I'm starting to think about it, but I haven't positioned that way yet. Possibly, I may regret that to some extent, but for me, alts are largely in a high time frame range bound environment, and I think you're gonna have plenty of time to accumulate. So I'm not in any rush. But if BTC gets very risk on here and moves towards 29-30k, then alts are inevitably going to follow. So I'd probably look to allocate more, but I have a lot of cash just not in crypto right now.
I have a lot of cash. Just
a lot of time. I'm not highly allocated. I'm just not highly allocated in crypto at the moment at all.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I haven't been I haven't been looking at longer term buys yet. Kind of still think there's a good chance we see lower prices in Bitcoin in Q4. But there's not really anything, aside from potentially a bearish CPI print today. You've then got the next Fed meeting, and beyond that, it's earnings really, which is going to be, I think, the headwind for equities. So it's difficult to see where the downside is coming from. I kind of feel like the market has absorbed a lot of the bad news now and is just trading in spite of it. If you know what I mean, it's sort of, these are the conditions that we have. I think participants are aware of the risk, and it's just kind of doing its own thing now. I kind of feel like a lot of the bearish stuff has been and gone, but I think there's still downside risk into Q4, and I think we could still see lower prices for sure. Even if we go to like 29-30k, right? I think there's still a risk we see sort of 14-15k from there. I just don't know. Don't know, but I just don't feel like getting particularly risk on right now while the Fed is still. Well, Powell's just been so crystal clear about his intentions to destroy demand. I just don't see why I should be getting turbo risk on with that kind of rhetoric.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing for me is that, looking at the Sol chart, I keep going back to it because I think it's one of those sort of beautiful examples of, if you were, real high time frame investor and you just sat there and said, okay, well, this is going to be an accumulation range and we're going back to all-time highs. It's like, all right, well, break out of that range, do that.
Right.
I'll get on board there. I'm going to miss out on a reasonable amount, but if I can ride it up to here, and Solana's going to be the future of of finance and the future of smart contracts, and it's going to be the layer one that everyone uses. Well, fine. I would be quite happy with that. Like that, there's still time. Like
and you're not sitting through periods of undulating price action where you're in profit, you're in loss, you've got opportunity cost, you're just buying and then price number goes up, right, when you buy that kind of breakout. So, and actually if you look at how and when alts started rallying at the end of 2020, Solana was trading very close to its lows, like around $1.50, I think, when it broke out of that range. So like back in December 2020.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Bitcoin was rallying all through that period while it was selling off. So you still had an opportunity to buy it right at the bottom, in spite of BTC leading so strongly. So I don't know whether we see that kind of rotation next time.
Yeah.
But the point is, even if you don't get the opportunity to buy it at the bottom, you're still going to buy it low enough.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it, isn't it? I'd rather catch the meat of the move than get chopped up, going risk on, risk off, risk on, risk off from an investment perspective, and with decent sized capital, than try and second guess, because a lot of alts look fairly similar, to be honest, unless they've been in play like ETH, ETC, sorry, RVN, etc., etc. A lot of them are kind of in, you zoom out long enough or far enough rather, and they're just in pretty wide accumulation ranges. I've seen similar on things like Alice, again, just in this range, and yes, you can trade that range. It's what, 100% to top to bottom, like happy days. So it's quite a nice trading environment, what with the fact that there is volatility still. And I think the thing that I always get scared of from a sort of bear market perspective, and people go, bear market, is if volatility dies,
Yeah,
because you can't trade something that doesn't fucking move.
right. Exactly. And we have had like windows of that, right? Like Bitcoin a couple of weeks ago when it was just trading that tight bracket was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, down here it's like
Yeah.
check
But
price, same
there's
price.
in those scenarios, either you do one or two things, right? Either you step away, because really there aren't, maybe you get one or two trades out of that a week in terms of just something mean reversing, or you trade other markets, which is what I've been doing. I just there's been good volatility in forex, there's been good volatility in commodities, so there are opportunities elsewhere. Why frustrate yourself trying to trade something which is untradeable?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, a question for you then, I suppose, because you're trading two different types of markets. Do you find that your skills just naturally transfer straight across,
I
or do
think
you have to make adjustments trading TradFi compared to crypto?
large. I mean, they're similar. I mean, the FX trades super clean, and makes a lot of sense. Like price just hunts liquidity. So if you look at, for example, Euro USD recently, the way it's kind of constantly mean reverting even when it's trending. But the way price just takes liquidity and then moves higher, or takes liquidity and moves lower, is it's super clean. So you can take sort of intraday, intra-week trades on the 30-minute, and you don't really need anything other than a naked chart.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been good. FX has been good. I've never really traded it much before, but have a pretty high win rate on my FX trades, because you can typically get very tight entries because the liquidity is so good and because the price action is so clean. You're never far away from being invalidated, and price will typically move away from those levels and give you an exit, even if you're wrong.
Mm.
So it's been quite forgiving for my trading style, I suppose. I know a lot of people like to trade it on super low time frames, like 5, 10 minute, and just take very small, or catch very small rotations, and just be in and out of the market within an hour or so, and then they're done.
Yeah, that looks like my kind of degeneracy. That does lovely. Look at
Yeah, I
that.
mean, it's great for that, right? And I definitely see the appeal of that. I've been much lazier with it and just sort of let price come into higher time frame levels, and then that's where I'll act. Like that, yeah, like that example there, what you just highlighted. You know,
Yeah,
and so then you can just be very patient, set your alerts, let price come into those levels, decide what you want to do when it gets there.
yeah,
Um, it's been my approach. So I've probably taken like 2 or 3 forex trades a week,
nice.
and that's it. But that's all you need. So yeah, and then a bit of gold. I was short gold from pretty much um, mid-August or early August. So I caught most of the move on gold, which was a nice swing short. So yeah, no, I haven't been sort of trading. Um, I prefer trading crypto when the volatility is there for sure, because I'm more set up for it,
Yeah.
around the tools I have, um, and I understand it better. Like when I started trading oil over the past couple of weeks, I sort of started to realize there are a lot of factors influencing it, which I didn't really get. So after a couple of nice trades, I took a pretty hefty loss on oil last week. Uh,
So
so
yes, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I guess we have the same in crypto, but it's more like, I think of things like the rune hack, where price just went -20% in a single candle,
yeah,
and things like that. Obviously, I'm comparing a shitcoin to oil, but
yeah. Well,
yeah,
I mean, some of the stuff. If you look at NatGas, if you just look at the ticker NatGas, it seems to trade like in a liquid shitcoin. I was watching it last week, looking to get long. If you go to the if you go to that wick there, I think was on a 5 minute. It was
holy
a five.
shit!
I think it was a 5 minute wick, and it was like there you go. Look at
Fucking
that.
hell!
Yeah. So I was looking to get long in that area, and I watched that, and I was like, no, I'm staying out of this market. No way.
Does Arthur have anything to do with natural
Exactly.
gas? Fuck
Yeah.
me, that's a mole, isn't it?
Horrendous. So yeah, you've got to be a bit careful with these markets
Yeah,
and your experience of how they move, because they can do surprising things.
Arthur Gas
But
did it
that
for
that
real.
yeah.
Oil went negative. Yeah, it did. I mean, that was probably the easiest trade of the century, wasn't it? In
Insane.
hindsight.
I was watching a documentary about that the other
Yeah.
day. This prop shop in Essex. These five guys that were sort of trading as a collective made about 50 million quid each when oil went negative. And
Jeez.
they've been investigated for market manipulation. So I don't know what came of it, but there's a documentary on YouTube about it, which is quite interesting.
Oh man, I might have to give that a watch. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
mad. Yeah, you only had to take physical delivery. I think so.
yeah,
That's that's the only minor problem.
the cat.
Well, sometimes you just gotta risk it for a biscuit.
Yeah,
Worry about that when the day comes.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's mad. I mean, it must be kind of freeing in the sense that you can just switch markets and trade whatever. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
because
I had I
really,
had I had one week, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where like it just smashed everything, like hit everything, and then the next week, crypto started moving a bit more, and I felt my attention was much too widely spread across different markets, and that was the that's the downside, is that your attention is not focused on a single market, and you start making mistakes, and maybe you miss things. So there's pros and cons to being across different markets. I think
yeah,
either you want to be on crypto, or you want to be in other stuff. Um, and things can very quickly change, as we've seen with that move off the bottom. So yeah,
yeah, massively. And I mean, I try and focus down on a number of altcoins. It's not as much as spaghetti would suggest that it's like 50 at any point in time. It generally isn't. It's generally four.
yeah,
For low time frame rotational trading. And then I've got space mentally for like a fifth, maybe even a sixth, if actually on spaghetti it starts showing real strength. And I can start seeing that actually, yeah, this looks like it's set up for a run. Let's jump on board.
yeah,
But yeah, I definitely can't do more than six. I don't think.
yeah. No, my generally at any given time I'll be looking at sort of 4 or 5, I think. But I like to have a long list, because you get periods where one or two coins will be the more volatile. Like for the latter part of August, it was CHZ. You had good moves in both directions.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
I like to
it was
have,
great.
yeah, yeah. It's sort of, we're
Sort of
milking that
died off
one.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's looks a bit shit now.
Yeah. It's
Um, yeah,
not a reasonable sort of pivot, but there's kind of no reason for me to long this right now.
just compressing, isn't it?
Yeah, compared to basically anything else that is moving, such as Ape, Sol, etc.
Litecoin.
Yeah, the future of Walmart.
I was short when that Walmart news dropped.
Were you? Oh God.
Yeah, yeah, I got completely stuffed on it.
Yeah, I mean that's the wonderful power of crypto. I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus, that is quite savage. The lightest of coins, eh? Can you look at
yeah,
Atom?
really
What
going.
What's your view of Atom?
So I traded it up from like 11. Where did I trade it from? I guess it was like 1170 or something, up to pretty much the top. Actually, marketed out on that wick.
Nice.
So that was a good trade, but I don't know. You typically get these periods of consolidation after you get an extensive move like that. There was a 15-minute candle where it went up 20%, right? It's like you don't see that in crypto very often. And
No.
typically, you get like an expansion, you get these periods of consolidation. So, what's my view on it now? Maybe it wicks higher. I guess it just depends on BTC to some extent, but I could see a move into like the 18s potentially, at least to take out the wick. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's Atom 2.0. When is that happening? Tokenomics are changing. It's probably a good one to hold for the longer term.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind buying it lower again. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I'm not very good at trading Atom. I always say that like
Oh, it's been shit to trade for so long.
Atom cucks me, and
Mm,
I don't know if it's because I'm a terrible trader or because it's just the way that Atom moves and the way that compared to most alt rotations, it seems to be very unique, I guess, in the sense of the market can move, the market can have narratives, the market can do whatever, but Atom just goes whichever way it fucking wants, right?
Yeah.
So from a
Yeah.
correlation perspective, I'm sure I could load up my pairs trading indicator and actually start mapping correlations properly. I just think it's relatively uncorrelated to most altcoins. So treating it as a high beta shitcoin to play on rotations just doesn't work for me. Trading
Yeah.
it as though it's just a normal asset, it does work. You can see, like, from a market structure perspective, it's been fucking beautiful. Just
Yeah.
it's absolutely like clean moves, basically all the way up,
Yeah.
almost to where you got a low there that's kind of equal. But yeah, it was lovely. But yeah, that doesn't help me in low time frame alt rotational trading, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
would I buy some? Yes. Actually, I own some.
Yeah.
I've still got, bits of investments, quote unquote, or tax write offs, as they're called at the moment, in various places. Things like Atom, Rune, various other bits and
Yeah.
pieces that I've just said, as far as I'm concerned, from a financial perspective, they're completely dead and buried, right? Zero. Um, yeah, I mean, it'd be quite hard to jump back on board Atom. This is exactly what I don't like trading on it, when it's range bound and then it just fakes breakouts constantly, goes to range lows and then takes you out again. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of, yeah, what I mean. It's just like this kind of expansive range, right? It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll consolidate a bit and then we'll
Yeah.
go back and take the lows, take the highs, and then we'll go back in. It's like, okay, that's probably what's going to happen on Atom.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I,
From a margin trading perspective, it's pretty much done for me now. I think
yeah,
there, yeah, yeah, I'm kind of done with that one. It's just sitting on yearly VWAP and not interested.
yeah, no, that's fair
It was a
enough.
nice move that we caught last week.
Yeah, it's a really nice move.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it myself. I wasn't even looking at it.
Yeah. I don't know why I was looking at it, but yeah, managed to catch pretty much that entire impulse, which was good.
Nice. We've got a bit of movement on Shib. Oh,
Oh, hello.
the stream's pumping it. Everyone's aped in 100x. Um, yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be in a big day. When is CPI? Is it what, 50 minutes time?
Oh God, yeah. Is it 1 or 1:30? 1:30, isn't it?
I
So
think it's
yeah,
1:30. I think it's 50 minutes, and we're gonna watch the 1 minute price action develop, and it's just gonna be absolute degeneracy. Bye bone 1:30. Someone in the chat says, "Cheers again, JB." So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to go over in terms of like market stuff that I'm looking at. I mean, I think we're all just waiting with bated breath for 1:30, really.
yeah, seems that way.
Like, and it looks like the market's doing the same, apart from Litecoiners who are just going absolutely bananas.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, some of the rotations have been really nice. I kind of preferred when we had clean narrative rotations, and by that I mean we went through a phase where basically it was OP, LDO, ENS, it was ETC, it was basically anything ETH merge related, and it was just long a combination of those four, and you're probably going to end up 10% on the day. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's not it's not, it wasn't difficult.
yeah. I think I missed most of that. I think I was away when all that was going on. Was that end of July or?
Yeah, yeah, it sounds about right. I've got a terrible concept of time because it's all one big chart,
Yeah,
and people are like, "Oh, when did this happen?" I'm like, "I don't know." Basically, yeah, it was July. Basically, this move on OP. But again, like this is what I mean with like accumulation ranges on alts. Like if you call that accumulation down there,
hmm,
like you've almost got the clean retest
yeah,
there, and you've literally been given a second opportunity to get on board,
yeah,
and then suddenly you've got this absolutely explosive move. Do you know what I mean? Like if we
yeah,
go back to risk on, I'll gladly take a 3 or 4x
for sure.
on pretty much anything. I think my little puppy, is going bananas. Little douchebag. can hear him downstairs. I hope the stream can't hear that.
No, I can't. What kind of dog is he?
I don't know, Carvapoo, I think.
Don't know.
I don't know. He's a little brown fluff ball. He's
Uh,
nice. He is super cute, but he's going through his horny phase, I think, because he's yet to have his operation. So
uh, I
he's
haven't had that
very
either.
he's very yappy. Bless him. See, I did like trading OP. OP was good fun to trade. So we've got
Yeah.
45 minutes,
It's,
and then it's 1 minute degeneracy. I'm actually not going to take any positions during the 1 minute because that is just it's just carnage.
yeah,
If,
it can be chaotic.
have you got a squiggle that you think's going to happen? Because I love doing a little CPI squiggle.
Have I got a squiggle? Not really. I mean, I'd like to see. I've got an idea. I'd like to see, but I don't know. It feels very optimistic. I'd like to see a wick in sort of the 21.5s and then outside, but I just it doesn't look like it's going to give that at the moment.
The
Was it?
21.5.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at yesterday. That's what I was looking at yesterday, but obviously we just keep grinding higher.
What made you think that at the time? That's gonna, yeah. I mean, now it looks quite savage, but I wouldn't put it past crypto, right?
No, it wouldn't be impossible. It's just an area where just there's a low volume node in there, around 21.5. At least there is on my chart. Yeah, there around there.
Do you want to share your chart, and I'll see if I can open the Zoom meeting. Look at that. That is it changed for the stream.
You do that.
It's only because you trade like Magus does, don't you? In terms of you use things like TPO and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the Tetris order flow juju.
indeed. Do you not touch any order flow stuff?
I may dabble in it every now and again. I have a peep. I have Aga V3 loaded with some nice templates, and uh, to be honest, I feel what happens with it when I use it is I just get a bit more analysis paralysis as opposed to it gives
Yeah,
me more interesting or more of an actionable edge for me
right.
personally. Because the
Yeah,
thing that makes sense to me is momentum
yeah,
and essentially beta. That's it, right?
yeah,
That's it. That's kind of all I really need,
yeah,
and just raw price action. So for me, it's kind of another layer that isn't necessary. But when I see like Jim or Magus or someone explain what's just happened, you watch you watch everyone ape in at the top, it's getting absorbed, you can tell this is going to reverse, bang, lo and behold, it reverses. Magus makes it sound so fucking easy that it's kind of like, well, why shouldn't I try this? And then, I don't know, you're kind of trying to learn a whole new trading style, which, yeah,
yeah.
is.
Exactly. I mean, it works for me, but everyone's different, right? So yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. I guess I'm someone I want to know what's going on behind the scenes a bit.
Mm.
Otherwise, I feel a bit uncomfortable sometimes. I feel a bit blind. So it's helpful in that respect. But yeah, I was looking at this area around here, just this low volume node, but I don't think we're going to get there now. It just depends on the data. I don't really have much of a read on Bitcoin. It's just been very difficult to position. So I think I took profit around this POC on Friday. Obviously, we just chopped around there for most of the weekend, and since then it's just been like higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. There hasn't been an entry to the upside really, and every time we get these, there's been a lot of absorption up here. The supply's been very thick. You can see it in the open interest more than anything. So, big increase in open interest during this consolidation, which is just from yesterday. 8% increase in OI, and price has really done very little.
Yeah, that's bad.
So, a lot of absorption in that area, but I'm just not comfortable shorting it, given it just keeps grinding higher like this. There have been shorts to take on a scalp basis. We talk about absorption in order flow. There was 50 million of trap delta on the Binance wick earlier. But the unwinds are just, there's small rotations to the downside, and then they just get bought back up. So looks kind of bullish. Bulls are in control at the moment for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be very interesting if they lose control in 40 minutes time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So what's the chat's view? Anyone got any guesses at CPI? Any guesses at the price action as a result of said CPI event? Is it going to be a huge wick to the upside? I have no clue what's going on, but fuck it, let's see how it goes. Hope to make some money. Yes, Delta. Along that shit. Wick to 21. Wick then drop. Ooh.
Wick then drop.
Scan wick down to liquidate late longs, then up.
I mean, that would be nice. But the thing is, if we get positive CPI data, I don't think you're going to get that scan wick down. I think it's just going to go straight up. Because there's a lot of people waiting for this data, and they're all just going to pile in, right? No one's going to be selling on good data.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the confirmation that we're, risk on, let's go. And
Yeah,
it's
I
going to
feel, I
just
feel, I
be,
feel like there's a good chance of that. I feel like all of these lows probably survive in that scenario, and we just go to the moon.
yeah. I mean, when I was talking to Mauricio the other day for the last CPI, he said, sell off like 15 minutes before, and then pump, and that's exactly what happened last time. Was
Yeah,
we sold off, and everyone was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then 15 minutes later, it was just vroom straight up.
yeah. I think what's
But
different. What's different is to this time is that we haven't sold off over the preceding days.
yeah,
So we've seen significant de-risking into the events over on previous occasions, and we just haven't seen that this time. I think the market's really quite convinced that we're going to see positive data and a positive reaction, which is
yeah,
interesting.
which will
Which
be
is
interesting if we don't,
it's not. Yeah,
because
exactly.
it feels like there's people like me who aren't positioned necessarily for the upside, but equally there's a lot of people positioned for it.
Yeah, for sure, for
But
sure.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I've seen Trio of Alpha's bot as well, which I always find fascinating. The notion of just, net long, net short based off the numbers straight away, letting a bot do the work.
Pretty wild.
It is wild. I mean, especially as he's not dealing with small size.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he's a fantastic example actually of we were talking about different trading styles earlier, and I read his little like how I got here sort of speech, or thread rather, and it's like I basically coded up everything based on news events, scraped news websites, and ended up being able to make profitable trades off announcements that weren't announcements yet, and obviously
Yeah,
racked up a hefty sum behind him doing that, which is completely different way of trading to what both of us do. I mean, obviously we
yeah.
use narratives, but not on the
I've
1 minute chart.
heard of people doing that, where they just literally will just sit and wait for a piece of news and then literally ape it, um, which is very different.
Yeah, phenomenal. How did you get into trading then?
Just through crypto, really. I
Yeah.
I, I bought Bitcoin. Well, let's not go into why I first bought it, but no, I invested in Bitcoin in 2015. I managed to buy pretty much at the bottom,
for
or
medicinal
around,
purposes, I assume.
no, no. This is actually for investment.
Okay.
It would prior to that, yes. No, I bought in around $250, I think, in October 2015, and then I'd observed like the cycles before, and how they'd sold off, and 2017, it just went up only for like 2 years after I bought it, pretty much. And I remember that December just trailing a stop. Like I didn't really know where I wanted to get out. Once it was above like $15,000, I was like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. So I think I just put a trailing stop, maybe 5 or 10% below the previous day's close, or the previous day's low of the day or something, for like
Yeah.
and eventually I got trailed out like 17, 18K or something.
Jeez.
And I was busy doing other things. I wasn't really trading alts at that time, which was a big miss because that was wild. Like I had a couple of wins, but nothing too big,
Yeah.
which is, a bit of a regret. But then obviously the market changed. And I wanted to participate in the market more actively, and that's why I got into trading essentially. So
Wow. I mean, I'm impressed that you were using a trailing stop for your first cycle, to be honest with you.
I don't know trading. I was on Coinbase and I just changed it every day, like. But it was just, I wasn't looking at charts really. It was just like, in complete intuition and good fortune really. Just based on what I've seen before and all the hype, and it was getting out of hand. Like,
Yeah, I
so
mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, whilst my Twitter account won't tell you that I was around in 2017, I certainly was. I think I bought in August
yeah,
2017, and it was, it was the easiest thing ever to make money out of crypto then.
yeah.
It was up
It was
only.
so crazy. It was so crazy. You have olds doing 100% days, and yeah,
Yeah, I remember my friend sold XVG,
yeah.
Verge, and he woke up the next day, checked his Blockfolio, and I think he'd put like, I don't know, 50k in there or something, and it had done like 30x overnight. He checked his
Oh my God.
Blockfolio, and he was just like devastated. he was like, lads, and he showed us his Blockfolio picture, and we were like, mate, well done, that's fucking amazing. And then he went, yeah, shame I sold it all last night. Oh,
Oh my God.
oh,
Jeez. So many such cases. I had a good friend who knew someone on the founding team of Rayblox, which is Nano.
yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, you should buy this shit." And it was trading at whatever, and it pulled like a 500x in like 3 months or something. And he bought something else that he was recommended that did like nothing. And then he bought the exact top of Nano, which still stands to this day at $32.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
But it's like we're talking about these coins, right? And I'll just bring up a couple of the charts for people who, this is their first cycle because they are, phenomenal. Um,
yeah.
let's start with XVG. There's
You
big
just had
trades.
much less stuff. Like, so liquidity was so much more heavily concentrated. Um,
Oh,
and
that's not even good enough. Look at that. Bloody XVG. Must be XVG. And you also had Bitcoin pairs, didn't you? Everything was just a
yeah,
BTC pair.
of course,
So,
yeah.
which is why it hasn't got a decent amount of history. Yeah, there we go. So it was down here.
Christ,
And then,
it did two
good morning.
cycles.
Yeah, that is mental, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nuts.
And then now it's, absolutely dead as a fucking dodo. Like, this is what a lot of shitcoins will look like from this cycle, just as an FYI to the new 2021 22 participants. You
Yeah,
get your cycles and then just fucking disappear into the ether. Not to be depressing, but Dragon. Oh, Disney coin. Did you have any Disney coin, RB? I
no,
did.
I can't remember. I had like Deep Brain Chain.
Oh, DBC, yeah.
Yeah, I bought something called SonM,
Son M.
SNM, which actually did all right for that cycle. It was like a decentralized computing token. Absolute nonsense. I was convinced that was going to change the world.
It's pumping, mate. You better
Oh
check
yeah,
your old bag.
yeah. I don't know if that company's still going.
You're probably
Uh,
only down like 98% now. It's fine.
no, I got out pretty good on that one.
Oh, nice.
What else did I get into? I can't remember. I remember buying some ICOs in January 2018, which got completely done. Um, Fortunately, didn't go too heavily into them because ICOs in 2017 were absolutely wild. Like your average return was like 12x on an ICO in 2017 average. So if you chose a
Yeah.
good one, and then I saw it in 2018, I assumed that would continue, and it just didn't.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? The wrath of the markets is swift and painful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a new coin out today actually called Sweat coin,
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
which no, I have no affiliation with. Just before I get zacked.
No affiliation or no.
I own no bags. Yeah, no, not a paid tweet or chat or any of that kind of crap. But my point was going to be that Sweat, like the vesting of Sweat coin, is like a year cliff or something like that. So it's like from a responsibility perspective, like all these ICOs that were like you get all your tokens in month 1 to 3 of your investment. It's very different these days, where you've got a year to wait before you get any, and then you've got 2 years following on from that for them to actually, fully materialize in your pocket,
Yeah,
which is kind of better for the industry long term,
definitely,
and
definitely.
actually genuine projects that aren't just money grabs. Because I do believe in this space, like as a principle and decentralization, all that kind of wonderful stuff. But like genuinely, when you have people knocking up, $5 million raises off a white paper, you kind of can't blame it for being full
Yeah.
of scams and all that kind of crap.
No,
Like,
it's scam by design.
yeah, yeah, it really is. The downside of removing barriers to entry is you haven't got barriers to entry, and it makes it very easy for people to enter the ultimate casino of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, it's built on Nia. That's a good point because Nia's you know, Nia's been not too bad, not too bad, but it's something that I wanted a position in, and I kind of completely forgot about.
Yeah, I did. No, I'm out. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about being out of it at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's probably better plays at the moment, but
Yeah. Near gets some bad press, but I think it's actually probably quite solid. It's not going anywhere, so I think it's maybe a solid project for the next cycle.
Mandala says Nearcon this week too, so I'm surprised you
Yeah.
haven't got a bag, RB. Come on.
Well, I did. That's why I had a bag,
Ah,
but
okay.
the cost is on now. I just feel like the trade is probably done. I could be wrong. I could well go higher. Depends on what happens today.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
clouds. That's yeah. Notice how everyone hypes up a project when the price is up, but when it's down, crickets. Tells a lot about the real value of crypto as a whole. I mean, like generally, most people are here to make money. So if someone says, "Oh, I bought here, you should all buy," and they do it on Twitter, and then it's up, you can almost guarantee that someone's going to repost that and be like, "I told you to buy here," blah blah blah. But yeah, that's kind of the name of the game. You know, I did a dumb tweet the other day, which is like, "Oh, I gave you this for 1,000x," and like literally nearly 10,000 people followed me
Yeah.
off the basis of that tweet, which kind of
Yeah.
shows you the mentality of a lot of people in crypto that they're just gonna go, you know.
Yeah.
that,
If you want to get followers, just laugh a P&L. Just laugh a P&L screenshot.
oh
You'll
yeah, yeah.
that's
Right, you can write it down in an Excel spreadsheet. That's
You
the
probably
best.
could. Probably
Yeah,
could.
no, someone's done it. They've literally just said, "Oh, I took a trade here, took a trade there. I'm up $1,000. Now I'm up $10,000. Now I'm up $50,000." It's like, what the fuck? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's kind of different levels, aren't there? There's posting a trade, and there's posting it down here and going, "This is the long I'm taking, lovely jubbly," and you post it down there basically at point of entry, and then a couple of weeks later, when it's played out, you post that and you go, "Look, it's done." You maybe show your buys and your sells, and there's pretty tangible evidence that you A, planned the trade, and B, took the trade.
Yeah.
Whereas writing it in a spreadsheet is is
The crypto split doesn't really hold anyone to a burden of proof. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, no, that's it, isn't it? You know, you 100x an account or something like that. Like, I expect fucking API verified details, motherfucker. Do you know what I mean? Like, or at least something of that ilk. But
Yeah.
yeah, don't get me started on the joys and woes of crypto Twitter. Yeah, I'm 100,000x. Why didn't you listen to me? Yes, well,
You did call 1,000x, didn't you?
I mean, I've had Shib went like two million X or something ridiculous,
Yeah.
and in terms of like, I posted a quote unquote investment portfolio which I sent around to all the guys in WhatsApp, the little WhatsApp crypto group who got wrecked in 2017, and yeah, like everything in there went like 50x or more. I think Room was the best one at like 350x or something like that. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, you get some of these where they work out, and actually, I held more of my rune than I should have done through the cycle. But
Mm.
Yeah, it did very, very well, and technically I'm still up multiples on it.
Hmm.
TRB was another one that was really, really good. And again, I think it was just about, you know, the absolute luck of the market cycle that we found ourselves in. Like,
Hmm.
you know, will we ever get another cycle? I guess that's a question for you. You know, will we ever get another cycle as explosive as 2020, 2021?
I mean, the conditions were really perfect for it, so it's difficult to see. It's difficult to see a repeat of what happened in terms of the macro. That people talk about macro LARPing in a bear market, but no one was saying that when they were saying print to go burr all the time during
Yeah, that's
21.
very true.
So it's a two-sided coin. Will we ever get a repeat of those conditions? Probably not, right? I mean, you had stimulus, unprecedented stimulus. You had people at home doing nothing but buying shit coins on during their working hours.
Yeah.
Stimulus checks. So, do we get a repeat of that situation? Probably not. Is crypto going to have another cycle? Yes, probably. There is this, there's definitely human greed. I think um, people are drawn to number go up. So when number goes up, people will be drawn to it. And inevitably number will go up as equities do well and crypto's beta to equity. So yeah, I think there'll be other cycles. Do I think that Bitcoin's going to go to 500k anytime soon? No. Like, diminishing marginal returns. I think more and more people are now attracted directly. Bitcoin used to be the on ramp into altcoins, and I think that's not the case anymore. So for Bitcoin itself, I don't really think that the beta's there as an investment. I don't think it's a store of value either. But it will probably lead cycles, being sort of further to the left on the risk spectrum.
Yeah.
So I think there will be other cycles. It'll just differ by degree rather than like being qualitatively different, in my opinion. Um, I don't know what your take is.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like the kind of asymmetric return of Bitcoin is just going to go down each cycle, isn't it? So
Yeah,
yes, we might see 100k BTC one day,
yeah,
but that's a 5x. You know, you're never going to go back to, a whatever we got this cycle. What were the lows, like 3k up to 69? So you're not going to get that, I don't think, again. Will
no,
you get that with altcoins? Yes. I guess I'm a bit mixed in my views of whether, and it's probably based on personal positioning, in the sense of like I'm not positioning in a lot of low cap projects anymore, and that's largely because
yeah,
I don't need a 100x. I'd love a 100x, but I
grand,
don't really want to take the risk, especially in a technologically saturated environment where you really have to swim through the sewers of shit to find something that's going to step out that basically other investors haven't found. There's a huge rise in venture capitalism in this
yeah,
space. So you've got so much more competition just in terms of seeking out these projects and being able to invest in them, like at all. And all the projects that know they are good and probably have something to offer are starting to raise at much more ridiculous valuations compared to like normal companies on like, you know, on standard basis, right? So if you were
mm-hmm.
looking at like a discounted cash flow model to value your business and you applied that kind of rhetoric to crypto, it just doesn't work. I mean, I know it doesn't work. I'm not naive, but like the speculative premium in that scenario is like 99% of the value.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like and if projects are raising at 300 million, fully diluted, like your upside potential, again back to that kind of maximum potential return, is much much lower. So
yeah,
yeah, but equally, will we have another run on something like SHIB or some form of dog Inu coin or Elon Musk Inu? I don't know, and don't go out and buy any of that shit. But like, yeah, it'll happen, and it will happen in the corners of crypto. It always does. If you
yeah,
look hard enough every week, there is something that has gone 10x. There is something that has gone 50x, and it's probably a liquid fucking shit, but it happens, right?
yeah,
And yeah, I think the human greed side of it, as you pointed out, is cyclical. And yeah, there's that classic meme, isn't there, of people queuing up at like 20k Bitcoin, nah, not interested. 60k Bitcoin, let's go. Well, this is, people want that like confirmation that it's gonna go to new all-time highs, and that's where
Yeah,
they buy. They don't want the speculation, they don't want the risk, and then they don't want the reward that comes with that speculation.
yeah,
It's bizarre. Well, they want the reward, but they don't want the risk.
yeah,
And sadly, that's the trade-off.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I think it's going to be quite difficult to get into legitimate projects with very good upside potential for any other runs, unless you are trading it basically. And I
yeah,
think that's where that combination of investing and trading works really really well. Being
yeah,
able to swing trade, being able to understand the fundamentals, and pulling it all together to say, actually, yeah, I want this part of my portfolio allocated to, say, NFTs, and that can be either NFT infrastructure or actually, NFTs themselves, and appreciating that space. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than people realize, but equally, I think it's the easiest place that people can make substantial amounts of wealth. Still, you know, if you go work at 9 till 5, you are never going to make enough money, presumably, to be free indefinitely. Whereas this market still offers that opportunity.
yeah. I don't think it's the only way to do it by any means. I don't even think it's the only market you can do it in, to be honest.
Oh no, I don't think it is. I just think I think it's probably the easiest and most accessible
Yeah,
to most people.
yeah, exactly. If you, in terms of the time commitment you need to put in order to generate significant returns, yeah, I'd agree with you. But it still does require work. There's no doubt about that,
Yeah,
and it probably
100%.
requires some experience as well. I think a lot of people in the first cycle probably got their hands burnt, many times.
Yeah.
But they've been through that now, and they'll do better next time. And then there'll be a new influx to who they can dump their bags on. So it's just how it works, right?
I
So
like that. Yeah, we're recruiting the next generation to dump on. It is how it works, though. I mean, it is what's it? The greater fool theory. If
yeah,
it has no intrinsic value, then you just keep passing it round until you find a greater, or until no greater fool is found. I think is the that's what Bill Gates refers to
yeah,
BTC and generally crypto as.
yeah.
Can you guys take a look at the QLC BTC chart? What?
QLC.
This is going to be a shitcoin, isn't it? But since you
People,
asked,
when I do my streams, people always ask about these shitcoins. I'm like, oh, that looks crap, and then it ends up rallying like 20%. I'm like, well, they must have try to give me some alpha there.
yeah, Jesus. I mean, uh, I mean, I don't really know what to say about that. Strong coin.
QLC chain.
QLC chain. I mean, it doesn't bode well that I'm really not aware of it. I mean, that's, like I said, it's my ignorance. But I mean, how are you going to get an entry here?
Yeah.
Yeah, bone, SHIB, and all that kind of wonderful stuff. And that's we were talking about narrative, catalyst, etc. So not only is what's it called, Shibarium. So Shibarium coming out, SHIB not looking in a completely terrible place. SHIB Doge looking reasonably bullish. You could see a quite violent breakout, i.e., migration from Doge to SHIB potentially. We saw a little run on Doge Chain, which I know is the absolute epitome of degeneracy. But I know some friends who did very, very well out of that. I made 20k longing and shorting Luncy. I am a complete idiot, but this is great money for me.
Well,
That's great. I mean,
thinking, feeling CPI is going to be over and we're going to mega dump. Too many people bullish.
yeah, that's it. Everyone's bullish. That's it. Send it to
I mean,
name
there's been
cake.
there's been a lot of longing into this area for sure. It's definitely plausible.
Let's have a look at. I'll load the Zoom meeting back up. Oh, you stopped sharing. Yeah,
Oh,
obviously I haven't got the juju.
oh yeah, okay. Well, there's not much to say other than I showed the open interest chart earlier. I mean, that's the key one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if this spot bid turns around and they start dumping, then it's going to be ugly.
gonna be streaming CPI. I mean, we got 17 minutes. I
How are we
think.
going to fill that time?
Hey,
How are we going to fill that time?
I don't know. A quick. Well, we could do AMAs with the boys and girls in chat and theys in chat. Sorry to any days or non-binary or whatever. I always get that kind of stuff wrong. What's your thoughts on Plutus? Yeah, I like Plutus, mate. I use my Plutus card all the time. In fact, my wife has taken my Plutus card out and is spending my money as we speak. Sinking feeling CPI is going to be over. Shall I do a squiggly? Oh, yeah. We've got to have a go at squigglies. So we've got to guess CPI. We've got to guess the price action. So 1330. Let's line it up. So I reckon something. Oh, I need to practice my aim instead of live on stream. I think we're gonna get something like that. Gonna absolutely wick up. Look at that's horrific. And then we're gonna dump. That's it. Game over. I mean, I need to redraw that because that goes back in time. Yeah, that's my guess. But the wick is going to be absolutely beautiful. Top longing apes. I can just see Jim Talbot's Delta tweet now. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. RB, have you got one? You got a squiggle you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do one. I need to share my screen again.
Yeah, I'll load you up. There you go. This is my my CPI squiggle.
Let me get a clean chart. Clean enough, that'll do.
Actually, I'm going to change my mind ever so slightly with this bit. I think we're going to do this. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, hello. Am I sharing? No. What? I can't even see your.
It should be. Let me go on to it. There you go. Right, you'll go. You'll go, Squiggle. I can see your screen now.
All right, cool. There we go.
So you're going to go the opposite of me, I imagine. And note, please, guys. All right, just don't trade off a Squiggle. I actually genuinely got a DM from somebody saying, I traded off your last CPI squiggle. He showed me the screenshots. He showed me him liquidating his last like $300 and was like, please, can you help me out? And I'm like, oh my God, like how, like, what do you have to say to people that gets them to not like interpret? And I felt sorry for him. He's really desperate. He's basically lost like 5 trades in a row and gradually like whittled down his balance. It's that classic like I've got to make it all back in one trade type thing, right? But fuck me, like off a guess off a CPI news announcement on 100x leverage, it's just please don't do it. And if you DM me with that, guys, I'm gonna tweet it and send it to Coinfessions. So
okay, well, I've got 2 scenarios, I reckon. So one would be like something like that. Oh no, I need a path.
you gotta go on the 1 minute time frame, mate. This is 4 hours.
1
4
minute.
hours. 1 minute.
Right.
1 minute, not 5 minute.
1 minute.
I'm not interested in a 4-hour perspective, mate. 1 minute.
I need to zoom out a bit, mate. I need room on my chart. What's going to happen? Yeah. Where do we squiggle? There we go. Turn off the magnet.
You don't even know what the 1 minute chart is, do you?
One would be like this. One would be like this. But the other one The other one is just like straight up, no breaks.
Just
See
no
you there.
breaks. Yeah, but you got to
Yeah,
pick one. So are you going with up only, no breaks?
yeah. Fuck it. Let's do it that one.
So Omega Bull.
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I like it. So we can stick with that.
Is that a classic? It fits my bias. Therefore, this is what must what must happen. I
Good
wish I
man.
had like some sort of channel mod where you can guess, and we can reward all the bulls if it happens, or the bears if it happens. So I'll be 100x long from here, no lower lows.
I'm spot along, mate. I'm not no margin whatsoever. This is my way of dumping into people who are on the stream, basically.
Oh, are you using these people as exit liquidity?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I think we could come into here, right, and into this gap.
yeah,
That would be a nice place to reject from if we're going to do that. But I really don't know. It's very hard. I don't really like trading events very much.
yeah. I don't
Like
normally.
super, like for me the EV is like not good. You can get big wins, but also you can very quickly wreck yourself. So
It's just the gamble, isn't it?
yeah, pretty
It's
much. I mean, do you remember the Jackson Hole one was a good example? I think we had we moved up on I can't remember what the news event was that day. There was a news event. There was some piece of data before Powell started speaking, and the market reacted very positively to it. Like it was back here, so it was just topping around. Had the news, wicked up, and then Powell started speaking and said the same shit he'd been saying for many weeks, and we just turbo news. So that was quite difficult to trade. Yeah, I mean, it was difficult because it all happened so quickly. So you had the positive news, right? Are you going to take profit here, or are you going to live for continuation? Then Powell started speaking, immediately turned around.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it, isn't it? You've got to be very fast, and
Yeah,
obviously hope that the exchange that you're using can
exactly. Yeah,
cope with the load, because it's gonna be
yeah,
savage.
yeah. Often just best to sit it out.
Yeah, but love a gamble.
All right.
I mean, I always say to people, "Oh, you got your adder alert. What's going on adder?"
No, nothing much. It's been going off every 5 minutes for the last few days. I probably should delete that alert.
I was gonna say that doesn't sound like the greatest of alerts. I was chatting to Jim the other week actually, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've been using alerts a lot more lately, but then I sit there on my phone and watch them go off." Yes, sit out. I need the adrenaline kick in my life. That's it. I mean, we're all just hovering around our computers
Oh,
at
I know. It's
21
terrible.
past
It
one,
really is bad.
waiting for a number to come out.
Yeah, just watching YouTube videos, waiting for something to happen.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, how did life come to this? I just wanted to buy degenerate shitcoin Ponzi's based off rumored logo changes. That's, I think that was peak. That was my peak 2017 investment.
Yeah,
Rumor of a logo change. It always makes me laugh.
yeah.
Oh dear. So, how's chat positioned into this? Are there any degenerate longers that have got stops at, say, I don't know, let's have a peep. Let's close Zoom down a second. Are there any sort of degenerate longers that have stops at, like 22.4 or anything like that? Drowning in the green with my 20x long from 22.605. Oh, what's your invalidation for that, Sprigsy? Some market that pumps or dumps. Yeah. New logo is a feature as a Rocket Easy 20x. I mean, that was literally my trading uh, experience back then. Sound happy? Yeah, I am happy. I'm pretty happy. I mean, I had sort of COVID for a little while, and it's nice to feel alive and sprightly again, which, yeah, you kind of take for granted, not feeling like, not feeling good when you feel like utter garbage for a couple of weeks. And you can't even get the time right for a stream 3 times in a fucking row, because this was meant to be Friday last week, but I ended up cancelling it because I got the time wrong 3 times. Which it's a good job I wasn't trading. Long ETH stopping profit below 1730. Oh, that's nice.
ETH could get really, really wrecked today, I think, or tomorrow.
Yeah, beta is going to be.
It's going to be ugly if not to put the fear into you, person in chat, but I just think if we go south, it's really gonna take a hit.
Spot long from lower. He's asking for your stop so he can set his bids. Stoner Valley's worked me out. Yeah, that's why I stream. It's so that I can get a gauge for your liquidations, which are going to be my entries. All that unlocked ETH with 2.0 going to tank hard. Wouldn't be surprised to see 850 ETH. Oof.
Hey, bullish or not, bro? It's interesting. I said on Twitter, I don't think I've ever seen sentiment so polarized as it is right now. You know, you've had a strong rally off the range lows. Kind of not really much has happened, really. But you've got some people, like I genuinely think it's plausible that we rally towards 30K. I think that's a realistic scenario if we break above value here. But I'm also open to the possibility that we can see 14K. And you've got people very adamant about one or the other.
Yeah, I think one of the up until this point here, I was quite I was quite, maybe it was just the boringness of this range down here in the sort of 19 to 20 region. But I was like, the scenario that most people weren't covering at that point was it just ranging kind of for a long period of time, like literally, pinned between two prices. And I know we essentially had, summer break and all that kind of wonderful stuff that potentially impacted volatility, but that was my personal bias, I suppose.
Right.
Evidently got disproved quite quickly with this sell-off down here, and then obviously a strong move back into value, as you call it, or the range, and continuation from there. But there would be part of me that would, I guess, welcome a bit of a range, even though it would be boring for trading.
Well, it's fine if it's volatile, but the kind of, I mean, particularly the latter part of that range was just, it wasn't really much to do.
Yeah, it was what, 2%? Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe 3 at a stretch.
It's just very difficult to find an actionable trade. Like there was maybe 1 or 2, but yeah.
CPI in 6 minutes.
Is it really? Okay, all right, better.
It's 4 minutes, I think. Right, logging into the exchange, 100x leverage. What do you think? Is it bullish or bearish? I mean, I think honestly, it's going to be very strange that if we get like, I don't know, 7% inflation, the markets will probably react bullishly. I mean, if you'd have said that to me like a year ago, I would have told you where to go. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Of course, the market's going to pump on 7% inflation. Yeah, of course it is. Oh. Yeah, the 1 minute fuckery starting already. We love to see it, boys. We love to see it. Oh. Now that people got a second chance at the lows, most of CT seem to think 30k without any regard for data. I think there's going to be a lot of people wrecked. I don't know. I think there's quite a few people on Twitter who actually know how to trade and are actually up quite a significant amount, from the last couple of weeks. Wow, my squiggle is quickly getting invalidated.
That's my Adrian again.
Is it?
It's all kicking off already.
It's kicking off. Look at this. My God. Has it come out?
No,
it can't have done.
It's just repositioning into it, I think.
Yeah.
It's so perfectly set up to nuke.
It is. I was gonna say, like, how could it be out? Someone's, yeah. Oh, it's It's mad. I mean, I will wind down the stream after we've had this wonderful minute or two of price action because we've been going for a while. And I'm sure you've got other things to do, RB. So, but obviously, thank you very much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
It's certainly been an interesting one in terms of what's happening in the market, but I almost feel bad for not going through a ton of setups and just talking um, more loosely about coins that I'm looking at. I 1,000x that squiggle. You owe me 10k. Fuck. This is a costly stream. Pre-number Darth Maul. That's new. Yeah, I mean, I would have expected some unwinds quite a bit before, to be honest. Not 4 minutes before.
Are we all sitting here refreshing Forex Factory now?
I've got Twitter and I got Trio Alpha up because he's the one that will give it in like 0.0 seconds. So yeah, I think everyone's just hitting F9.
Just slide the leverage to the east and get ready to smash buy or sell.
Yeah, all I keep reading is Trio Alpha's last tweet, which is stop front running the magic numbers, please. Yeah, he's the quickest. Yeah, I mean it's mad. Absolutely legendary crafting an edge off that. I'm not sure if I get any points for this squiggle. I think it's out. Do I find some epic music to put on in the background as this kicks off? Which Twitter? I'll dump it in there for you. He's Tree of Alpha. Sorry, that's my British dialect. Do we say the Queen's English anymore, or do we say the King's English?
It's a good question. Do we say "God Save the Queen" anymore? No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably the last time we'll sing that will be her funeral.
Yeah, I think we have to brush up on our Britishness. It's God Save the King now. Yeah, it is God Save the King, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This might actually be the most non-event event ever. Feeling excited.
Could be, actually.
Imagine it just does nothing. Imagine this is the start of the range. That's it. Come on, Tree. Where's the tweet? My Twitter notifications just blowing up. Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
data's out. I mean, I haven't got it yet, but the data must be out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not looking good, Brev.
Not really.
Oh dear.
It's up. 0.1% month on month. Forecast is 0.1 down.
Sheesh. Yep, DB's got it.
So now what? Do we go up anyway?
Yeah, is that it? Is that the sell-off? Is that done? I mean,
21.5.
plus 0.1%. That's gonna send the entire market into disarray, is it? Fucking hell.
I mean, it might. I mean, there's a lot of open interest here to take out.
I know.
Stop. Alerts. Everything's dying.
Ping, 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 ping.
I'm glad I got out of sold some spot off before this.
We've got a div on the 5-second chat. Ball div. Let's go. That was quite non-eventful, really. It's not the dramatic effect I thought it would be, but I guess the day is still young. Come on.
See if we get that 21.5 area I'm interested in.
You reckon it goes that low?
It's not far away.
Non-eventful. DJ and Shorted, boys. Scradacious is loving it. PPI tomorrow to nuke it. Range till next news. Charlie got a secret wish. Well, it wasn't that secret, and I don't think we will. I think,
well, bigger picture.
Yeah. Like,
likely. 21.6. I think that 21.5 spot looks interesting. Come on.
"15-second div, let's go." Just keep logging until you're on. Not financial advice, please don't actually do this.
Doesn't look like a bottom yet to me.
No, I mean, for me, miss this move. I'm not bidding anything. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think this is where it helps to have a footprint chart because you can see in real time when orders are getting absorbed.
yeah, no, I would agree with you. I imagine the group having a whale of a time at the moment.
I think. Well,
look at spaghetti. Fucking beautiful. It's just literally everywhere.
Crikey.
I mean, yeah. That is why news events are fucking difficult to trade. Like, literally, they're so janky. It's not even like rendering properly. Like, I know it's a 1 second spaghetti chart. I'll refresh it, but yeah, it's just so janky. There we go. Well, boys and girls, I think that's probably enough fun for one day. Unless there's anything you particularly want to go over, RB? Any final thoughts, musings?
I've got nothing, no words of wisdom, I'm afraid. So,
all wisdom has been shared. We'll get to 21.5 and then max long. And,
yeah, let's hope so.
DM, what's your new username? Is Markets Meow Meow?
Yeah, I rebranded from crypto.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's not going to be BTC Charlie anymore. It's going to be GBP Charlie. And in fact, my song does say GBP Charlie.
Someone said, "Do I stream?" Yes, and Charlie, you're gonna come on mine, but let's do it another week. I think it's too much. 2 days consecutively.
Yeah, sure, mate. Yeah, definitely. There's we'll catch up later on in the month or something. And yeah, if you're not following RB or at Markets Meow Meow, check him out on both Twitch and Twitter. And thank you all for tuning into the stream. And if you follow this stream, you will hear the wonderful voice of Michael Saylor saying there is no second best. So for those of you who have been hearing it throughout the stream and thinking you were going insane, you might be going insane, but not because you're hearing Michael Saylor. And yeah, thank you very much for joining me, everybody. And a special thanks to our guest, Trader RB. So I will leave you with a wonderful song that one of the stream viewers recorded for me. And yeah, we'll leave it there. Cheers, everyone, and see you next time.
Cheers, Charlie. Cheers, everyone.
There is no second best. There is no second best.
He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses notice sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.